Beautiful. Welcome today to another episode of Latino World Travelers virtual travel party. Today we have with us Josett. She's gonna talk to us about ready, set, and go, exploring the best of Portugal. So Josett, please welcome. Thank you for being here and tell us
Hi.
everything we need to know about Portugal because
I don't know
go.
tell you everything, but I can tell you as much as I possibly experienced. Thank you for having me, Latino World Travelers. Thank you, Vanessa and Daisy. And so I want to start by saying that I travel a lot, and a lot of people who know me know that I travel a lot. And I think it's important that when you travel, you choose the right people to travel with, like depending on what your travels are going to be. So that's just a little tip that I kind of like live by per se. And one of my travel buddies is Miss Daisy. So it's exciting. She didn't get to go on this trip, but she was planning on it. Anyhow, so this was a Euro trip. And my friend and I, who ended up going on this trip, we went to 3 locations. We went to Spain, we went to Portugal, and then we went to Italy. So
Wow.
it was exciting. It was fast paced. It was high anxiety and a whole lot of fun. So, and I chose Portugal because I feel like we kind of covered a lot of Portugal in a small amount of time.
Mhm.
So, I'll start by when we flew in from Spain to Lisbon in Portugal, and we didn't stay in Lisbon initially. We went to rent our car, and our plan was to drive to a beach town or a beach area per se called Algarve. And the car rental experience, I must share with everyone, was horrible, because we literally waited almost 4 hours before we finally got our car. So my advice would be to be prepared for that, one. And also, the cost was pretty average. It was good. The service of getting the car and the people helping you get the car and accommodating you was fine. But it was the wait. It is like a crazy circus madhouse, and the wait is like waiting in the DMV. You had a ticket, they had to call your number. It was insane. But then you start asking questions and you realize this is just how it is. So just keep in mind that, and also that you need to request a standard versus stick shift, or however, automatic versus stick shift, because most cars in Europe are stick shift. So I don't drive that. They gave me one of those, and I was like, wait a minute, I don't even recognize this. I don't even know what to do. So we had to switch the car, and they were very accommodating. So that was a good experience. So when we drove 3 hours out to Algarve, which is more of a relaxed beach vibe, kind of laid back state of mind kind of vacation.
Mhm.
And if you're going to explore Algarve, you need a car to explore it. Like if you want to get there in any other way, that's fine, but you need a car to explore that area. So it was about 3 hours driving. A lot of people were like, "You drove in Portugal?" I'm like, "Yeah, like it was just like driving here." Yeah, like, are you driving on the other side of the road? No, you do not drive on the other side of the road.
Oh, that's good to
So
know.
yeah, because I guess I didn't even think about that, but I never thought that Portugal you did have to drive. But I've been in countries where you do have to drive on the other side. So I guess that was a good like shocker that people were asking me that. So we end up getting an Airbnb. I'm a very spontaneous traveler. I can road trip and then book on the way to wherever I'm going. But certain things we did plan, and one of the things we did plan was that we did book the Airbnb. The Airbnb, I must say, was absolutely beautiful. It was like a resort, and it was family owned and very inexpensive. One of the most inexpensive places we stayed in the whole trip. I'm talking from Spain to Italy. It was the most inexpensive and the most beautiful place that we stayed at. So
Mhm.
um, it was family owned. This couple that they actually, I think they were from Germany. I think they told us. So every room had a name of a flower, and they had a little table outside. So because in the morning time They set up a breakfast for you. It was absolutely such a great
Wow.
service. They had a pool. The whole Airbnb was decorated like with flowers and very tropical. Like you didn't even have to leave, to be honest with you.
Wow.
So that was great. I mean, I don't have the name right now. If anyone wants it, they can also DM me, and I can recommend. I would highly recommend this Airbnb. And then they had they would barbecue dinner for all the guests. Were all welcome to come. They had a whole. They tour you around the whole place, and then they would barbecue a dinner. And it was just a very family feel kind of thing.
Mhm.
So my friend and I went and we explored other places, and they gave us pamphlets of where to go, and it was like being in a hotel. And they how can I say we drove to all these other places. So we started by driving to some. I don't remember all the names of these places, but you could just look it up. The whole area of Algarve is like cliff beaches. So
Mhm.
it's very, very nice. It's like I've traveled to the Southwest a lot, and I love going to canyons and stuff like that. So it had like that. It's like being on a beach in a canyon. It was like so like kind of like contrast, such a great contrast.
Mhm.
So and we just kind of explored. There was so many of them, so many of them. The waters were
Wow.
beautiful, the cliffs, the views. I mean, it was just like amazing. So and that was just the first night we got there. We went, we settled in, and then we just kind of left. So the next
Mhm.
day we went and we explored another beach where it's like tons and tons of rock formations and beaches, and you could just walk through and kind of like situate yourself anywhere. And no, you don't pay to go on the beach. You just kind of go. It looks like lots of family people there. And then we ended up taking a boat tour to like 7 or 8 caves. And like the tour
Oh.
guide gave you a lot of information about the caves, and it was great. It was only literally like, I think we paid like in dollars. I don't know in euros. Oh, the monetary monies they use is euros there. So we paid about $15 for
What?
like this amazing boat tour. Yeah. And the only restriction really was to keep your hands inside the boat. You like your little vest and everything, and a whole bunch of people on the boat, and you pay right there on the beach, and there's a little booth set up. You get your ticket, and everything's very self-explanatory. Direction: go wait on this line and get on that boat with that sailor or whoever the guy is leading the tour.
Mhm.
And so that was really exciting. And then after that, we still explored more beach. It was our purpose for this whole trip was hiking and beaches.
Okay.
So we already had a good start. So because all of these cliff beaches, you're kind of hiking down and up, and
Mhm.
it's like that. It's not just like walking onto a sandy beach off a boardwalk. So and
Oh, the internet is acting up. Internet. Is it my internet or can you hear me? Or is it maybe her internet?
I think it's her. Hold on.
Oh no.
Let me call her.
Okay, now I hear her. I hear you on Instagram, so keep going, I guess. Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me? Uh-oh. Oh no.
Give her a moment. She'll be right back.
Yes. Maybe try to connect again. And the story was getting so exciting.
It was. I was very into it. I already have a
Tune
question.
in. Well, we're just gonna wait a couple of minutes for her to come back and continue telling us her story about Portugal. I am so excited. I want to know the name of that hotel that she stayed.
I did see
Okay,
some pictures. Oh, she's
it
on?
logged you out. Yes, I'm here. I log in again. You see me? You see me? Okay.
You're on mute, Josett.
Okay, we're back.
I'll unmute myself right now.
Yes.
Am I still on your, do I still have to rejoin your Instagram?
No, I see you. I hear you.
Oh, okay, great. Okay.
Thank you for your patience, guys.
Oh, it's okay. Thank you for coming back. So, I don't know, where did you hear?
You
What
were
was your-
talking about the boat tour that you went to 7 to 8 caves. It was only 15 euros about there. And that your whole purpose of the trip was beaches and hiking with your girlfriends.
Yeah, so we accomplished our goal, which was that. And so at nighttime we went and since I had a car, basically you can use like Google Maps and just look things up and use Google and just find places. So we went to this area, and first of all, that in Algarve, all of the streets are like cobblestone, so it's really beautiful. It's such a beautiful place. Portugal altogether is just a stunning place, and it is known to be one of the most inexpensive places to travel to in Europe. So that's a good tip. And I've also heard rumor that it's becoming more popular, so it might become expensive. So try to get there as soon as possible before it becomes
Did you see any fishing there? Someone is asking.
Yeah, I personally didn't, but I'm sure that they did have a lot of they do have a lot of fishing there, because Portugal is known for fish, like for fishing, and that's one of their foods is fish. Their foods there, everywhere you go, their food is pretty much like it's the same, like everywhere you go, like the same. Their popular foods are breads and cheeses and wines and fish, and they're very Italian and Spaniard inspired. So just imagine, like it's got like an Italy kind of feel and Spaniard, and so they kind of, because they kind of all border each other. Yeah. So hence the reason we went to Spain, Italy, and Portugal. So it was an easy travel through. So anyway, so there's my friend who I traveled with. She just shared a screen with everybody on Zoom. I guess that was the name of the Airbnb we stayed at. I think that's what she shared with us. So so we basically went out at night. There's a lot of plenty of restaurants to choose from. If whoever has not traveled to Europe, one thing that I've learned in traveling to Europe, and with Portugal included, is that you do not tip. I don't know if anyone knew that, but you don't tip in Europe. Mm-hmm. And so we found ourselves really enjoying the service that we got there. And we discreetly went in and we did give the young man a tip. And it had to be done very discreetly. They were very weird about it. So, but we did, and he thought we were weird too. But an American tradition is to tip. So that's what we did. Yeah. So, and then like pretty much finished off our experience in Algarve the same way. Beaches, sunsets, just relaxing. They told us about another, very important fact. We went in August and the water was absolutely freezing.
Okay.
Freezing. So like, I'm a Caribbean chick, so I like the warm waters of the Caribbean. So the water is very cold. It's gorgeous, stunning, breathtaking, but very cold.
Did you, just, I have a question. Did you ask them if the water's always cold? If is August their summertime? Is it always cold?
We did say like, wow, the water's really cold. The water's really cold, but I think it's maybe because of the ocean. I don't know, because if they're close to Italy and Italy's waters were not that cold. Italy's water were perfect.
Yeah, because the Mediterranean is, I think it's.
So different. I'm not really sure if they're always cold. I don't think so. I think they do have warmer seasons, and I don't think August maybe is not their warmest season. I think their warmest season might be like June, okay. July. So, but I'm not really sure about that. So if anyone is interested in finding out more about that, you just have to look that up.
Thank you.
For somebody who lives there.
The boat tour that you did, was it a big boat, small boat? Like how many people?
No, it was kind of like, it was big enough to have a lot of people, but it was like kind of like a speedboat feel,
okay.
Like that. Like, so there was like everyone sitting like this. I don't remember if anyone sat in the middle, but pretty much everyone sitting around, and the guy was sitting on the edge as he was driving the boat.
And how far was Aragon from Lisbon?
Oh, Algarve from Lisbon was about a 3 to 3.5 hour drive.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, it was, but I like road trips, so the drive didn't bother me. Like that to me wasn't shocking, I've driven from here to Canada with no problem. So, you know, anyhow, once we finished our stay in Algarve, and the hosts, I have to tell you, were amazing. They were very welcoming and warm, and they even like offered, they knew our plans to leave and where we were going next. So they even offered for us to pretty much, do you want to stay an extra night? You know, because they were open to that. I don't know if we did or not, but we did consider it. So just because I was the only driver and it was going to be late, and they were just so family friendly that they considered that, oh, it's going to be late, you might get tired, you know, like that. So I think we ended up leaving though. So then we went back to Lisbon and found a hotel, nice hotel. Parking is terrible, terrible, terrible. So picture it like being in the village of Manhattan. So you're never going to find parking there. So
Did you have to park in a private parking? And like how much was it then?
I didn't park in a private parking. I ended up parking on the street because we just really needed to park the car for one night, overnight, so we could bring it back, because we had no more interest in having a car after that. So the plan was to bring it back to the airport and then just continue our trip. So before I continue, I'm a carry-on backpack traveler, not only because of the cost, because I had to consider that I was going to be traveling through Europe, one, and I also had to consider that the other airline, we did a lot of traveling with on trains, on airplanes, car, you know, so we used every method of transportation. So we had to consider how it was going to be getting on those small little aircrafts, and costs and room and what you're allowed and not allowed and whatnot. So that was all considered before we continued. I mean, we booked our trip and when we left. So just a little tip there. Also very important, your chargers. Get your portable chargers, people, because they're very important. Portable chargers. And if you're going to Europe, one thing that we did have a big wake up call. We only had one, you know, the plug, the European plug. So we were kind of sharing that, and like drug addicts, like, can I have it? It's my turn. You know, so and I was the one that didn't bring one, and I don't know how. When my daughter was in Europe for over a year, and I could have just taken hers, but so I ended up buying my own, and then it was like life was better. So just keep in mind, and you're just like here, you're chasing power over there for that phone, because your phone has everything in it that you need for pictures, maps, information, and everything. So that's just a tip, that just, you know, get a good one, get a good portable charger and converter.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, so then we went back to Lisbon and we stayed the night, parked the car, and then we ventured out the next day. And basically in Lisbon, you don't need a car. You don't even want a car. Brought back the car and just explored the city. And it's just a lot of walking and it's beautiful. It's alive. It's a good energy. And we ended up finding couple of things. We ended up finding lots of good food, restaurants everywhere. So it's like you have no problem with that, and you have so many choices of anything.
Is there anyone that you recommend in particular?
You know, I have to confess, I'm not a foodie. I travel with foodies, but I'm not a foodie. So I won't remember those type of things. So I cannot recommend. But if you ever need the recommendation, if my friend remembers, I can get back to you on that.
What about the food itself? What was your favorite dish?
Well, the food, all the food was good. All the food was good. Their big food is sardines, breads, cheeses, wines. You know, it's very similar to Latin food too. So it's like you're not surprised at the food. You know, I think the bigger surprise is like food service. You know, we had great food service in Algarve, and then when I tell you about Porto, it wasn't so great. But you know, but the food was good. The food in Portugal was delicious. So they have, you know, meats, beefs, and stuff like that. But like I said, I'm not a foodie. I'm the wrong person to ask about food. I'm not picky, and I'm not a foodie. So, but we did have good stuff. I have to tell you that, and like I know, and the restaurants were great. That's one thing. We weren't lacking in that. That's for sure. Pubs and restaurants everywhere. So so then and we ended up finding the I don't know if you that famous trolley. Did you ever hear of the famous trolley?
I haven't, but I'm writing it down.
Yeah. So I actually have a magnet here, and this is what the trolley. It goes up like a hill.
Oh.
It's just a famous trolley. I think it's called like an elevator or elevated trolley or something. It's in a lot of pictures because it is picture worthy. And so you're on top of this hill and it takes you all the way down. It literally takes you from one part of Lisbon all the way to a whole different area. So it's really cool. I mean, because you can either try to figure out how to get from one area to the other. You can take this trolley straight down, go explore the area, get back on the trolley and go back up. So, and then you see like a big, I think it's an ocean or a river in the distance when you're in that area. It's really beautiful. And the trolley is very crowded. People getting on. So if you want to like take pictures or do anything like phenomenal like that, like take a picture going down up the tracks or whatever, make sure you get a good spot because there's a lot of people on the trolley. Yes. So, but people in Portugal everywhere and anywhere are super nice, super friendly, nice. Like, you know, I don't speak Portuguese, but I speak Spanish. So Portugal people can understand Spanish. I might not understand fully Portuguese, but they'll understand our Spanish if it was necessary. So we found ourselves very comfortable in the whole language department. So that's always good for anyone who does speak Spanish to know.
Of course, of course.
But there are your English-speaking people there too. You know, there's a lot of tourists, so of course they're always ready for English-speaking people too. So don't be discouraged just because of that.
So once you returned the car the next day, how did you navigate Lisbon?
Walking, train and walking. So when we returned the car, I have to tell you, I did get a ticket because I couldn't understand the whole parking thing. And the guy in the hotel tried to help us. And, you know, he meant well. He ill-advised us, but he meant well. And I ended up getting a ticket. So we were told to take that ticket, and we had to go to like, I thought maybe you just like the car rental will cover it, but no. We literally went and navigated ourselves to find the police department or sheriff, I don't know, some authority people that you had to go and pay that ticket. But when we got there, they took a lunch break.
Oh, no.
Wait, they what?
They took a lunch break.
And a European lunch break probably means like,
includes siesta and everything.
Whatever. I was like, forget this. I don't care. I'll figure out how to pay this ticket otherwise. Let's get out of here and enjoy the rest of our trip here. So that did happen, but you know, those are things along the adventure, right? So anyway, so then we found the most fabulous place that we found that is called Pink Street. Pink Street. Okay. Pink Street, I mean, we just stumbled upon it. We didn't even read about it. We just stumbled upon this place called Pink Street. It's kind of like the red light district feel, and it's very trending and happening. And all of the restaurants literally had like names of all different parts of Europe. It was the coolest place ever. I did tell I made a friend there. I talk to anybody and everybody. And if anybody wants to exchange Instagrams or WhatsApp with me, I am not shy to do that. I travel with people who are very shy to do that and they think I'm crazy, but that's just what I do. So I made a friend there, and the name of his restaurant, I'm going to give him a plug. Oh, snap. What's the name of his restaurant? And he was really cool bartender, waiter guy. And we sat in his place because his place was looked like a bookstore. Have a drink, pick up a book. And, you know, it's like the type of place where everyone who works there is all tatted up and just kind of funky and very cool, very trendy. And the street is actually pink. If you Google that, you'll see that the street is actually pink, which is kind of cool. So,
well, they're beautiful.
It was beautiful, different, you know. And the crowd that it attracted was like that too. So,
Yeah.
you know, I was like, this is the coolest place ever. And that was down the trolley. Like when we went down the trolley, and then like, it's almost like a hidden, probably like taboo place. I don't know. It was just really crazy. So
Did you see a lot of tourists there, or did you see more like locals?
I think it's a big mix. There's a big mix there. Um, yeah, mix. A lot of Spaniards, obviously, because Spain borders Portugal. A lot of Spaniards, especially in Algarve. It was a lot of Spanish. You could tell because you hear them speaking. So if
Mm.
you're speaking, you're like, oh, they're from Spain. So I guess their tourists probably are from Spain. You know, I'm
Yes.
sure there's a lot of American tourists who go there and people from all over the world, but I think their majority tourists are from Spain. So, I haven't been all over Spain, so I can't say what the difference is. But yeah. So, and we had of course, ice cream gelato. We had in Lisbon. We had I forgot, almost forgot. It's not something I would normally do, but what the heck? I was on vacation, and so we went on a bar crawl.
Yes.
You're the
I
one.
never even heard of a bar crawl. Okay, so you have to understand. Like I'm not like in my 20s, so I don't do the bar crawl thing. So the bar crawl was crazy cool. My friend, she's very savvy. The one I was traveling with, which where Daisy's the same way. So traveling with the both of them was fabulous. So
Internet.
my friend is she's good at looking stuff up like that. So so she found the bar crawl, and she's the one who found the fabulous Airbnb. So and it was cool. We had to meet at this spot. So of course you have to Google the spot, and it's at nighttime. So you're walking around the streets of Lisboa at nighttime. And then I said, that has to be that, because there's a bunch of people there, and there's like somebody holding up a sign, and you know, you pay whatever. I don't know what we paid, $15, $20, something like that. And then like they take you to a whole bunch of different pubs and bars, because Lisbon is full of them. And you get like a drink at every place. It's included in what you paid. It was kind of cool. It was crowded, and it was pretty much, I think it's a way for people to get to know each other. But I found that it was and I don't know if all bar crawls are like this. Like I said, it's my one and only experience. I don't think I'll ever do it again. But it was like people kind of stayed with their own people.
Yeah.
But it was a lot of people and a lot of energy and a lot of fun, and you know, and there was music and go get your free drink and whatnot. We ended up straying away from the bar crawl group. After a while, it was like, all right, we had enough of this, and we ended up meeting actually an older gentleman and a younger gentleman, and the interesting thing about this young gentleman, whatever, young man, he was couch surfing. You hear different things about with people. So he was couch surfing, and I think he was couch surfing, staying with the older guy's couch or house.
What? Nice.
So we met a couch surfer. But they were very, very cool. And, you know, they were like, oh, take a picture with us. So, you know, it was really, we had a good time. It was very like friendly like that. And so then the next day we went to, so Lisbon has a train and you could take it anywhere. So the next day we went to do a tour. Okay. So on this tour, again, my friend went and she found, you know, somebody to do the tour or whatever. Now, I'm giving this tour a big plug. I believe the guy who gave the tour is watching on Instagram. So I'm giving him a big plug because he is amazing. And his tour was out of this world.
What's his name or his company?
His name is Leo. So if you're there, Leo, hey, Leo. And
Leo, if you're there, make sure you tell us so we can follow you.
Yes, I'll give you his Instagram. His Instagram name is Sintra Tours, because Sintra is the location we went to, but it's Sintra with a C, Cintra Tours, all one word.
I saw him commenting earlier, so he's definitely here.
and Leo's your guy, because I believe when my friend was looking him up, he came very well recommended on whatever resource that she used to get him, and he proved to be even better. He was crazy cool. So at first I was like, well, why are we paying this guy and then we got to go to him? Like, this is like silly. Like, well, what are we paying for, right? But it was well worth it. It was well worth it. I'll tell you why. We had a very small window of time for this trip because we needed to get on a plane to Italy. Okay. So we ended up getting on the train from Lisbon to Sintra. Sintra is another area in that, that about, what was that, a 30-minute train ride. And the trains are super easy to navigate, people. Like, it's crazy how easy it is to navigate anything in Europe, but the trains are very easy. So, and we ended up meeting him, and we're running a little late. He was very laid back. Don't worry, no, this and that. Oh, this, I'll be waiting here in this truck and whatever. So we get on his tour, and he was great. So the reason why he was so great and paying for him was worth it was because we don't know the area. We didn't have time to try to explore and figure it out. And the most important thing, besides all the beautiful places he took us to that I'll share with you, is that we didn't have to wait on these lines that would make you faint. That you'd be like, no way, I'm not waiting on this line. Because we just drove up and got what we needed and entered where we entered. And that was because this is the service that
lifesaver, right?
Yes, and that alone was worth it. So he took us to one of the famous places where you see castles and palaces and gardens. Beautiful. So the picture, you did ask me about the picture that we plugged this whole thing. That picture was taken in one of the castles in Sintra. And like Leo was like, yeah, it's like Disney. I was like, yeah, it kind of does look like Disney. But the thing is that on our way, he gave us a full history of the castles and the people who lived in them and how they lived. It was wonderful. And that's just the tip of what he did for us. So he took us there. There was this tremendous line that we didn't have to wait for. Went in, got the tickets, and we went in, didn't bypass the line, told us, meet me here at this time, whatever, when you finish. We had a number. So that's what we did. We took our time. There was no rush or anything. We let him know when we were ready to go, and he picked us up again. And then after that, he took us along, I don't know in what order, but he took us along the coastline of a town called Cascal. It was like a beach town. Beautiful. And if you stay in Lisbon, you could take the train to go to this beach town if you're staying there for a lengthy amount of time. You know, like we weren't, so we were fortunate enough to see it and to know about it. So like if we would return, we would definitely do that, you know, and we would know how easy it would be now. So he took us to these like cliffs, like this overlooks of these cliffs, and then you overlook these beaches on the bottom. I mean, it was just stunning. It was like it was incredible. And he was
I hope
really
you
cool.
took a lot of pictures.
I did. I took a lot of pictures. I'm a picture. I take a lot of pictures. Period. But so yeah, we took a lot of pictures. And then he took us to a secret place, and it was like off road. And he picks you up in this Jeep. So you're sitting in this Jeep, and now you're off road, and you're like in this bumpy ride with all of the agriculture hitting your face while you're doing this ride. It was so exciting. So it was great. And then he's like, this is my favorite place ever. I mean, I wouldn't even know how to tell you how to get there, let alone, I don't think there's a name for it. And since it's his secret place, if I did, I wouldn't tell you anyway. You'd have to go on his tour to see.
Well, I think he just wrote it down, Cabo da Roca.
Whatever.
Don't share it, because it's better to be secret.
So I mean, he took us. So anyway, we're like literally. It looked like you're literally at the tip of a globe.
Wow.
So you go and you go there, and there was a little bench if you want to just sit and relax and just kind of take it all in. And I'm a nature lover, so this was great. So then you overlook, and you just like, it's like listening to the ocean crash on the rocks. You're all the way on the top. It was what an experience. And it was really. And then he took us to another place that a lot of people go, like a lot of tourists go to, and I think he said it's the most westernest part of Europe, and it's and it's the same kind of idea, like you're on cliffs and you overlook the oceans, and Some people do stupid things that look like really risky and dangerous because I guess just to get that photo op.
Yes.
We saw somebody doing that. But I mean, I'm pretty risky myself, but I try not to be too dangerous and risk my life. So
Yes.
but that was stunning. That was beautiful. And then to top it off, we didn't even finish the tour yet. He took us up, I don't even know where, this hill. We drove up these hills into this tiny little town that looked like it was in a mountain, to a very local family-owned restaurant.
No,
And that's where
that's
we got our
lovely.
lunch.
I love that. I'm definitely calling Leo.
Leo is your guy. So and the food was great. It was fresh. You go, you pick your food. You know, it was great. He sat and ate with us, and he knew all the people there. It was great. And then he had to drive us back to the train. And if we didn't have a time limit, we would. I mean, he's so cool that he was like, "You want to hang out with a couple of friends of mine? We're going to go out now to a pub or something." And we had to go. I was like, darn, I wish we could have just hung out with him because he's crazy cool. I mean, you know, I'm not saying that's part of his tour or anything, but that's how cool he is. But he did take us back to the train, and that's how we ended our tour. And going back, we drove along again this whole coastline of beach town. It was beautiful. It was really beautiful. So we had to get back and pack up because then we were going to get on our train. We had a train ticket to go to Porto, which is another
Oh.
part. I don't know
So,
how.
do you recommend we stay a night at least in Sintra? In Sintra?
You could stay in Lisbon and go to Sintra the whole day. It's like taking the train from Queens to Manhattan
Okay, okay.
and visiting Manhattan for the day. And then if you like it, you go back to your hotel and you go back the next day. It's
Okay.
that easy. It's that easy. I don't know that you could see all these things, but you could figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
That's why his tour, having him as your tour person, it's kind of worth it. Whether you stay there or not, it's kind of worth it because, like I said, the lines and not only that, there's a lot of lines. And the place with the castles and the palaces, that place is very popular and for tourists. And the lines are they're serious, very serious. Like you can get frustrated and be like, ugh, I don't want to stay in this line anymore. It's not worth it. It is worth it. The castles, they had that Magic Kingdom looking castle, but then they had your like Gothic looking castles too and palaces, and you get to go inside of them, and it's really, really beautiful. And the gardens are just stunning. So it's worth it. And like I found that it was really great to I've done lots of vacations with tours, without tours, on my own. I find sometimes tours are important and they're worth paying for them.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you don't know the country. You know, if you don't know
Yes.
the country, you don't know where you're going. If you're on a time limit, like we were in this case, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So, Leo, if you're still there, thank you so much. I'll never stop bragging about you and raving about the service you gave us. It was great. So, and then we went to Porto. Then we took a train to Porto, and when we got to Porto, from the train we took an Uber. So yes, they have Uber.
Mm-hmm.
We took an Uber. We
Also,
booked a hotel, and this was one of those spontaneous bookings where we found a hotel and we booked it and took the Uber to the hotel. So and stayed
okay.
in a really nice hotel, and then we got up in the morning, and then we kind of like we ventured out into Porto, and in Porto we went to the main city. It's kind of like Lisbon, but it just looks different. One of the most famous places in Porto is a big bookstore that apparently J.K. Rowling was inspired to write Harry Potter by this bookstore. That's
Oh.
No way.
yes,
I
and the
love Harry
bookstore.
Potter.
So I have to tell you, we saw the bookstore from outside, and the reason why we saw the bookstore from outside is because we got there late, and well, we got there to the bookstore late, and it was closing and the line was tremendous. So they could only let a certain amount of people in at a time.
So, at what time did you arrive
I don't remember
that it
because
was considered late?
I don't remember it. Maybe 4,
Okay.
like afternoon, because when we got to Porto, it was pouring rain. Oh, I have to tell you all, Portugal is very well known. I didn't know this. I learned this. Is very well known for one of the resources that we all use or know about, and that is
What is that?
Cork.
Oh, I
So they
didn't
must
know
have
that.
billions of cork trees over there because they have stores upon stores upon stores with things made out of cork. It was so interesting. I saw cork shoes and cork
What?
pocketbooks. It was so
Wow.
interesting. And so I bought, and then we bought this is a bookmark and it's made out of cork.
Mm-hmm.
So this was nice. I bought this for everybody because I thought these were kind of cool.
Very pretty. Wow.
And we needed to buy umbrellas when we got there because it was pouring rain. And we were over here, being tourists. So my umbrella looks like cork. What this umbrella there?
Right.
I love my cork umbrella. It doesn't feel like cork, but it looks like cork.
Yes.
So I thought that's interesting. And also, I forgot to tell you, in most of Portugal, but we saw it more in the castles. They're very well known for tile. So you see this beautiful tile work.
Yes.
Everywhere. I know Spain is as well, but everywhere you'll see
So
anything
pretty.
and everything, and all the tile work is absolutely beautiful everywhere you see it. So you find a lot of things in the stores that have cork and tile, like that's like their thing. So that was interesting. So the bookstore, get there early. We saw it from the outside. I really wish I would have seen it from the inside, but now I know if I ever return that I would kind of schedule myself a little different. We did go to a museum. I don't know if we paid for it. Even if we did, it was so inexpensive that I don't remember. We went to a museum where it was just a museum of all these ruins. It's a famous museum, and it was a famous not a museum, a famous display had there, but I don't remember what it was because we kind of stumbled upon it as well. Again, we waited online. So there's lines everywhere. They're not all like the palace and castle line, but there are lines everywhere, or the bookstore line. So, and then we ended up venturing out and looking for this bridge, this famous bridge. And this bridge, it's a bridge that's between two cities, the city of Porto and another city. And you walk all of the city of Porto, and then you go to find this bridge. Then you walk over the bridge. It's a big walk bridge. It's a little like scary actually to walk over with all these people on it. And then it's divided by this beautiful river. And so that backdrop that you had, that's what you see from all of this walking in Porto.
Wow.
You go up high, and as you're walking towards this bridge, you see those houses upon houses upon houses, and the orange, the stone, the orange stone. It's just visually just a great place to go. Just if you just want to go see it, you just take pictures.
Yeah.
Again, the food was great, and then we ended up walking over the bridge that was divided by the river. You could take a boat. Like they have the little boats, kind of a little bit like Venice, like you can ride the boat across the river. All right. It's not like the gondola where that's supposed to be like a romantic boat ride, but it's the same idea. It's just like across the river. We didn't take the boat. We walked the bridge, and we sat in a restaurant. Now that restaurant, the food was delicious, but the service was horrible. It's not horrible service. Let me correct myself. It's not horrible service, but they have no concept of time. So you wait, and you wait. And you wait. So if you're the type of
they don't bring you the bill. You have to request it, right?
Stuff like that, like they don't come take your order. Like it's just, so it's not a horrible thing, especially for me because I can care less. I'm not a foodie. But if you are a foodie and if those things are important to you, it's good.
Or if you're hungry,
that's another thing. Yeah. I believe they put bread on the table all the time, so you're okay. Whereas in Italy, they put bread on the table and they charge you afterwards. You didn't even know it. So, because apparently there's no waste there. So anyway, and then after Porto, it was just, like I said, a lot of walking, a lot of historical buildings and just visually, it was just, we didn't have any destination that we were going to go. We were just going to go see it. And then after Porto, we ended up going back to the airport in Lisbon, and then we flew out to Italy. And then we continued our Euro trip in Italy.
Yes. Now, the order in which you did it, which was Algarve, right? Then Lisbon, then Porto. Do you think that's a good order to do it, or would you have switched the order?
You know, I have to say, I may have done a lot of things different at this point. I may have, I think the reason why we did it like that, if I can recall, is because we thought about that, and we rented the car. So we didn't want to have to go back to the airport to rent the car, because I wouldn't have known any other way to rent the car, because eventually, you have to get back to the airport anyway. So we didn't want to have a car in Lisbon. We didn't want to have a car in Porto. So we figured, and plus it's like you're coming back to Lisbon eventually. So with that being said, why not go out, do what you have to do out, and then come back and then leave from there. I think that was our goal. Maybe, I don't know, maybe if someone had like a better plan, I'd be open to it.
Cool. So, and how far was Lisbon from Porto?
I don't remember.
You took the train?
There, you
took the train?
Yeah, we took the train. I don't remember.
Okay.
Do you think it was closer than Argov, which was 3 hours? So it was closer.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it was closer. But it wasn't like that close. It wasn't like just like a 45-minute or an hour. But it was closer. Well, I don't know. It's also train and car.
That's true.
Yeah.
I have a question. How would you describe the difference between Lisbon and Porto in terms of like atmosphere and just environment? Like, you said they were similar, that they look similar, but like, was the crowd, the vibe similar?
I think the vibe is the same. I think the buildings are different. Oh, and then my friend. So we all go on Instagram or some sort of social media, and we see a picture. So my friend saw this is the picture that prompted her to want to go to Portugal. Okay. And it was a picture in front of these colorful buildings. That's one big difference. Porto's buildings are stunning. They're full of color, and it's got that old-fashioned line with the laundry hanging out feel, cobblestones everywhere. I mean, I think there was cobblestones in Lisbon too, but it's very old. I guess it's like an old city, new city kind of difference. Even though Lisbon also has that old city feel too, but I think that Porto, most of it is like that old city feel. And like that kind of like old San Juan in Puerto Rico versus San Juan, anyway, so this picture, she was motivated by this picture, and when we got there, she was disappointed. She's like, I am not gonna be able to take that picture, because whoever took this picture miraculously got there when there was no restaurant tables outside, and it was totally. So apparently the restaurants there take everything out and then put it back in, that kind of vibe. So I got the picture of the houses for her anyway, because I kind of like, I'm able to do things like that because I knew how bad she wanted it. So yeah, the houses there, the way that they are, the colors and everything, it's just Porto's, I mean, all of Portugal that we went to is just beautiful. Yeah. There's no regrets. I mean, even, so what, you had to wait like on the DMV for your car, but hey, it was worth it at the end, right? So you got to go,
Did you try their wine?
Yeah, we did try their wine. Their wine, they're very well known for their wine. I'm not a big drinker, so yeah, we tried almost everything that we possibly could, So yeah, and they're known for their wine.
Yes.
Big time Portugal. Almost in Europe, but big time Portugal. So
yes.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's it. That's all I have. If anyone has any questions.
Do you guys have any questions? If you're on Instagram, go to the question mark, submit your questions, and unmute yourself if you're in Zoom, and just ask any questions you may have. I know people asked about the Airbnb at the beginning at Argos, and it's called...
Oh, was it reasonable? Yes.
Oh, the Odixirif Faro by Julio. Odiaxere Faro, Faro by Julio. That's the name of the Airbnb.
Oh, okay. Okay, good.
The most popular food place in Porto for foodies is called the Francesina.
Oh, I forgot to tell you about that. That's their burger. We told everybody, we told them we go to Porto, like, you have to try this sandwich. You have to try this sandwich. And this sandwich, I have to tell you, it's got like, I wouldn't eat it because I don't eat what's on it. But
What's
apparently
on it?
it's like sausage and hold on a second. I did look it up because I was like, okay, that sounds interesting, but I won't eat that. But that's just me. I said, don't go by me. I'm not a foodie. And it's called the Franciscina sandwich. It's ham, steak, ham, sausage, steak. It's totally covered with melted cheese on the bread, totally covered with melted cheese and an egg on top. It is the most popular thing you'll ever hear about over there. Everyone told us to eat it. Everybody. And it's supposed to be, that Franciscina means little French girl, and supposedly it's like a poor man food, and a little like the story is that a little girl from France came and I guess had that sandwich or whatever, and that's what they named it. So yeah, it is the popular sandwich over there. And sardines, they're big on sardines. Nice. Big. So
someone asked, how was Cascao? I think that's what it's called, the beach city.
Yeah, we didn't get to stay at the beaches. I'm gonna say that the beaches are fabulous because those were like, we didn't actually stay at the beaches because we went there to see the castles and all that, and we didn't have the time. We went there for the day, but most of our day was with our tour with Leo.
Okay.
So,
and someone is asking, when do you think you will travel back to Portugal?
As soon as I can. I travel everywhere and anytime, and I think none of us are traveling right now. So I must say I'm very grateful for my travels due to the fact that we can't travel so easy anymore right now. Yeah. You know, I do reflect and say to myself, well, you know, you've been to a lot of places, seen a lot of beautiful things, and every experience that I have had, including this one, has been different and wonderful. And like I said, pick your travel partners wisely. I travel with different groups of people. One is my friend who I went to, and Daisy. I have a birthday group where when we hit that certain birthday, we travel. We're already talking about our next one, but I don't know. We got some time, but you know. So I've done that travel. I have my best friend that I travel with all the time, and then I also travel to visit family. So and I try to make it a goal to do that throughout the year. Last year alone, I went on this trip in August, this last August. Last year alone, I traveled every single month, I think except July. So I travel frequently. So who knows? I'll go back again when the opportunity strikes.
Yeah.
For sure. And it's good to have contacts, like, you know, like Leo's cool and I'm plugging him, and I hope everybody, you know, is interested in using his tour. I actually have friends who had planned to go to Portugal in July. As soon as they told me that, I hit them up. I said, I have friends coming in July. I'll let you know when it gets closer, and I'm going to link them together, you know. So it's good to have that kind of, those relationships, to establish those relationships too, you know?
Absolutely, yes. And now that we know, we can contact people who you trust, that you had a great time. Yes. And that's important. That's very important.
Because you trust them.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing too, you know, and that you know that that, you know, they how can I say, you know, they're not going to rip you off. You know, they're going to give you your money's worth, you know. So that's a good thing to do as well, if you have that personality too.
Yes. Any other questions, guys? We have her here for a little bit longer. Any questions about Portugal?
I have one more question. I'm sorry. I feel like I'm in class and I have a million questions.
It's okay. Go ahead.
In regards to the beaches, were they all like cliff beaches, or were there any like sandy beaches? Because you know us Caribbean girls.
Well, they're all sandy beaches, but when I say cliff beaches, meaning like you're on top, and then you have to go down into them. but they are sandy beaches, a little different. And in one of those sandy beaches, we did go and walk along. And so when you're walking along, like I said about the canyon feel, it looks like there's canyons right there. You really feel like you're in a canyon. It's incredible. They're cliffs, but they're orange rock. So, you know, that's how I'm comparing them. And not only that, and then we explored on our own, not in the boat tour. Yeah, we went to the caves, but we explored caves just walking through these beaches. And then in order to get to the caves, we had to walk literally within like tunnels of rock in water. It was just like a really good experience, and we weren't ready for it. We didn't have the right shoes. We had to be careful we didn't wet our stuff. I mean, we weren't ready for it, but we were ready for the adventure.
Yeah.
So
So you recommend that people wear what kind of shoes if they're gonna go into those areas?
I'll definitely wear some sort of water shoe, for sure.
Okay.
For sure. And it's not big to go in those waters. You need to have water shoes. That if you're going to explore it like that, you can kind of settle down, chill out, and go into the water if you want. But it was really hard to go in the water too because it was very cold, unusually cold. And I love the beach, and I'm not shy to be in the beach. So I want to say too, the boat tour, we opted to take the boat tour, but you can also take kayaks and go into these caves on kayaks. It's the same kind of idea. You go and you pay for it. You choose which way you want to do it. I don't know much about it, but I saw a lot of it. And you can literally kayak in the middle of the ocean. You can, and that's offered there. So
Yes.
I mean, you don't have. I didn't see jet skis and parasailing and stuff like that, but definitely you saw boats and you saw kayaks, and people were in kayaks. And then you can kayak into a cave, leave the kayak, get out, and walk on the sandy part of the cave. So I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, that's nice. Someone is asking if you can show other souvenirs that you purchased. I mean, I know you were team carry on, so you probably didn't purchase a lot of stuff.
I'm not a big souvenir person either, like, because I just feel like I try to get a little something here and there. I feel like I want to be led to buy something, but I try to buy a little something, a little memory here and there. And I bought magnets, your typical things. I tend to collect a lot of rocks and shells wherever I go. I've literally been stopped at customs because of it. So
do they take it? Have they ever taken it?
I was going from Costa Rica through El Salvador, and they were going to take it. And I said, listen, it's just rocks. If you want to take it, you can take it. But they were okay. They didn't take it. But I collect rocks and sand, because every beach has different sand.
Yes.
So, and then rocks too. Like, you see different rock formations everywhere. I've gone to so many different places. And like in the Southwest, I went to the fire wave, and I literally found a rock on the floor it looks like the fire wave. It's this big, but it's my memory of, wow, look, it looks just like the fire wave. So
how do you bring the sand with you?
I'll get a water bottle.
A water bottle. Okay.
Yeah, like a water bottle or something. Yeah. If they take it, they take it. I didn't pay for it. I just picked it up off the ground,
Yes.
I take my little memory of it, and I haven't had anybody take them from me.
Okay.
So
cool.
Yeah. So
Nice.
I brought out as much souvenirs as I possibly could. I bought a little towel, like a kitchen towel for my mom, things like that. Like, I didn't really buy, because of the carry-on situation. That's a big reason too, because every spot is pretty much like taking every little crevice in your bag.
Yes.
So so it's hard for me to go get like these big ticket items in other places. So.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. We learned so much about Portugal, and we're excited to go now and explore all of these areas. Really looking forward to going.
Well, thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Maybe in the future I'll come back with another place I visited.
Of course, anytime. Just let us know. We're gonna keep doing this. So far, we're doing them daily for the month of April, but after April, we're gonna do them weekly because it's really hard to do one every day.
Yeah, I can imagine. Thank you for opening up the travel palette for everybody. I'm a traveler, so I'm pro traveling. So this is a really wonderful thing, and I know that your group is geared towards Latinos, and I think that's wonderful too, being Latino myself.
Yes.
So I hope all your Latinos get like all these worldly experiences. I've listened in on a lot of your other ones too, and I've really enjoyed them. So thank you.
Yes, thank you. All of the episodes are in our YouTube channel. We have 7 seconds here. But tomorrow we're covering Dominican Republic with Oni.
Woo-hoo.
So make sure that you come tomorrow and join us here. It's going to be at 6 p.m. Eastern time and 3 p.m. Pacific time. And the next day is Mexico, and then it's going to be the city of Malta, which is close to Spain and in Italy. So please join us, and thank you again so much, Joseph.
Okay, thank you
for being here.
Thank you, Joseph.
Have
Thank
a
you very
beautiful
much.
day, guys.
Have a
Talk
beautiful day.
soon.
Take
Bye
care.
bye.